You are. Maybe on video.
Hi, Tommy. Can you hear me?
Are you able to get it? Do you remember the time?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We are live streaming the meeting. We're just getting all the board members connected through the Zoom for the live stream. So we'll get started here in just a minute. Thank you for joining us. Tommy's on the line, yeah.
Should I go ahead and call the meeting to order?
We need to have Ramona sign first.
Looks like Mark is on. Mm. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is Mark.
Yeah, Mark is on. Okay, shall we go ahead and start? No,
Yeah, Tommy's on, you're on. I'm gonna,
Mark is on.
Mark is on. Ramona's here. She's not on the meeting, but I have, I can, I think, sign her in just on my Chromebook quick so she can join this part of the meeting and then, but you can call the meeting to order and get started.
Okay, good evening, board members. Thank you for joining the meeting. And audience, thank you, and then people that are watching us, thank you for joining us. Okay, I'll call the special governing board meeting to order. Roll call, please, Tommy.
Bessie Allen,
Here.
Tommy McKay,
Here.
Gary Benson, Ramona Elwood, Mark Little,
I'm here.
Thank you. We have next 1.3, adoption of the agenda.
Madam President, members of the board, good evening. This is a special board meeting because it's not the first Wednesday of the month because of the holiday last week. So I do have a brief just superintendent report update. Because it's a special meeting, we don't have call to the public, we don't have consent agenda, we didn't have anything under old business. So we have some new business items. These first three would normally be the consent agenda, but we don't have a consent agenda this evening. We had the public hearing earlier on the expenditure budget, and the actual action to approve the expenditure budget is here in 4.5. We have some in-district personnel, leadership team members here. And then if we need to go into executive session for any items, and then we have personnel, we have some new items. A retirement at the end of this upcoming year, not now, but at the end of this upcoming year. And then some other hires and personnel actions. So with that, I would ask the board to adopt the agenda as presented.
Board members, the special board meeting agenda was read. I need a motion and second to adopt the agenda.
Board Member McCabe would like to motion to approve the agenda as read.
Okay. There's a second by Ramona. Any other discussion?
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Okay. Yes,
Do we have any call to the public? I did get an email. I'm not sure if that individual that submitted an email, and I think all the board members may have got the same email because I saw all of our email addresses on there. If that individual is on the line and if we do have any call to the public.
I believe we were told that this is a special meeting and there's no call to the public for
Oh, okay.
special meetings.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
yeah.
But just for your information, I did forward that to Ms. Osgard, Mr. Osgard.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's move on to next on the agenda. We have adoption of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion is carried with 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Okay, moving to the first on the agenda would be the superintendent's report, I'm sorry.
Uh, So the superintendent report is brief. There's, since our last special meeting that we had about the school closing, there's not a whole lot to add at this point. We don't know exactly what enrollment is for this year. It's still ongoing. This is the 1920 end of year enrollment was 1108. So that's how we ended the school year. And then the previous years are there as well. Just a note, it was mentioned during the public hearing, but for enrollment, we're rolling over all of last year's students into the new year. So if there were families that had decided that they were not going to enroll for this year, then they just need to let the school office know that they're not intending to enroll. And then just as a recap for anybody that wasn't tuned in at the last special meeting, first quarter of this year will be distance learning online school. It will not be held on campus. And then just another update, the governor of Arizona, Governor Ducey, has issued 2 executive orders in the last few weeks. The first one allowed for distance learning and gave a little bit of flexibility to schools. And then the second executive order delayed the start of school on campus until mid-August, but because we had already decided to go online, that doesn't impact us directly. We can still start as normal, but it just means that we would not be able to have any students on campus for the first 3 weeks of the school year. That's how long the delay is. And then at the end of that school closure delay that the governor issued, it's very probable or possible that there may be additional delays based on the fact that Arizona is one of the biggest hotspots in the country. It's very possible that the governor may do some additional delays. Then I just have an HR update of positions that we're currently working through. Transportation Department, the director, we're currently interviewing. We have 1 person left to interview there. So we'll be making a selection and bringing that to the board shortly. Exceptional Student Services, our special ed director, is on tonight's agenda later on under personnel. And then also the elementary school principal, there's board items later on regarding that item. For certified positions in the district, we do still need 2 exceptional student services, which special education teachers. We do have an applicant for one of those positions that we'll be interviewing, and we're working through that process. We need still an art teacher at the middle school, and they're currently interviewing. We have an applicant for that. We do have 2 social worker positions that are funded out of a grant. We have no qualified applicants. We had some people who have shown interest, but because this is specifically a grant from Arizona Department of Education, the requirement that they have set on the grant is a master's in social work is required, and we can't waive that. So we've not had any applicants who have that specific requirement. We do also have a vacancy for an instructional coach at the middle school. We have a high school teacher in Dena Studies program, a Navajo language teacher. And for that position, we are basically requiring a master's degree because we're trying to set up the dual enrollment with Dene College. So students who take our classes at the high school would also get Dene College credit for those same courses, but you can't do that through Dene College unless the instructor has a master's degree. Pinon High School Reading Interventionist, and that's later on the agenda for approval. And then for classified positions, they're currently interviewing for a receptionist at the elementary. We have a vacancy for a maintenance worker, for a custodian, a security officer that I believe there was an interview today for a security officer. And then we're looking at for bus driver trainees and bus drivers. Yes, we're not having students on campus for first quarter, but the buses will still be used to deliver meals. And we have 7 buses. I have this listed later on. We have 7 buses currently in Holbrook at Auto Safety House where they're adding the Wi-Fi hotspots. And then we have 7 more that we intend to add. So we'll have 14 of our school buses that can go out and park in the community and be internet hotspots for those families that don't have an internet connection at home. That they would be able to drive up to where those places are, and we'll have a map and we'll have schedules of where they'll be and when, and they'll be able to access the internet there. And then we also now have a guest network here on campus. So somebody could drive up, park in the parking lot, connect to the internet, and be able to do schoolwork or anything else without having, it would just, on the campus, it's only access to the internet. They wouldn't be able to get to servers or to print or to do any of that stuff, but it would provide internet access. Under facilities, housing renovations, that's been ongoing. There are maintenance workers are really moving those houses out very quickly. We have most all of our new hires are here now. They've arrived, they've moved in, they're on campus, they're excited and ready to get going for the new school year. But we still have many other housing units, so that renovation would continue throughout the year. And if you've driven on campus recently, if you look at the middle school, the contractors are here and they're partially finished with the new middle school roof that was funded by the School Facilities Board. And then at the last, at a special meeting that we just had, you approved the job order to do the renovations at the middle school, so that's getting underway. And then we're also working, we've already done it here at district office, and we're working at the 3 schools to create different entranceways where we've removed one of the glass panels in the entranceway, replaced it with plexiglass that we've cut a slot in so people can pass things back and forth. So if someone comes to campus and needs to pick something up or hand something off, they can come up and pass it through that little space without having to actually enter the building. So that is currently underway. Transportation department, we have 1 regular school bus that's replacing the one that was in the accident last year. I already talked about the Wi-Fi. We've talked about the Eagle Bus, and then we're also looking at replacing out the vans, the actual school vans that we have for the minibus concept, because vans are not preferred for student travel. And then just a couple general updates. 11-month, well, 12-month, we're already here. 11-month contract people reported today and did their check-in. We've had a couple meetings and we've kicked off the school year that way. 10-month staff would report on Monday for their induction and planning, changing things over to the distance learning online instruction. And then you may have received an email from ASBA, the law conference that was scheduled to be held at a conference center has been changed to online. So it'll be a webinar. We won't be traveling to go. So if you're interested in attending, please let Tanya know. The registration, I believe, opened yesterday or today. So there is a charge to attend, but if you're interested, please let us know and we'll register you. It's the same dates. It's still it's a 2-day law conference with a pre-conference day. But the whole thing will be done online. So you can basically be at home or be here in the boardroom and sign in and watch all the presentations and be part of it without having to travel. And then we also received notice from NAFIS, our Impact Aid Association, that they will not be having a fall conference in Washington, D.C. It will also be online. They canceled the spring conference, but the fall conference will actually be an online. The sessions will all be online. And again, we can register for that in September and basically watch all the sessions and interact from here. So we won't have plane travel or any travel to Washington, D.C.
I wonder if we can put that one on the screen.
Yeah, if we sign up for the ASBA Law Conference or for NAFIS, we can do it here in the boardroom, and we can do that. There's no travel. We'll just be doing it right from here.
I think that'd be so. Those that want to watch. I wonder if they have on the lobby.
For NAFIS, the plan is we won't be on Capitol Hill to visit people, but they're giving us templates so we can do phone calls and emails and other ways to reach out. And so we'll still be doing the lobbying. We just won't be marching all over Capitol Hill and running to all the offices. It'll be a virtual, either through phone or through email push for the NAFIS. So, but the dates for both of those, for NAFIS and the law conference, the dates are the same. It's just we won't be traveling to go. So if you're interested, please let Tanya know and we'll get you signed up.
On for the NAFIS one, the packet that we're supposed to take for spring, maybe we can send that to our congressional staff and Senate staff. And just like what board member Allen is saying, I think it'll be nice to kind of sit there in a circle and live stream it or whatever we can, even if we for the Hill visits, if there's virtual Hill visits. I think this is something new, so but yeah, so it sounds good.
Yeah. Everything's new and strange. Strange way of doing things. Okay. Any other?
Madam Chair.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I just have a comment on the housing renovation. This is in regards to, well, part of it's in regards to the email that we got, and I'm not sure, what's exactly going on, but and I'm not saying that, the projects are using school funds. Maybe the individual used their own money to improve the house that they live in. So don't misinterpret what I'm trying to say here. Basically what I'm trying to say is that if there is any type of renovations going on, I think we need to be cognizant of how we're using the funds. And I think if the individual or individuals are using their own money, I think it should have board approval first if there's going to be any type of renovation projects done to any homes, because those homes do belong to the district. And this would avoid any type of misinterpretation that's being put out there to the public, so that we are aware that if an individual is making any type of renovations to the home, whether they're going to use school funds or their own personal funds. Because right now, it's being misinterpreted that individuals are using school funds to renovate their homes. And again, don't misinterpret me on this. I'm not saying that they are using school funds. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. And I did bring to our superintendent's attention last week that I was accused of making comments about these renovations. I was not aware of any of these renovations being done to any of the homes. So I just hope Chris did address that. And in the future, you know, if there's any type of complaint of me, you know, overstepping my boundaries, and I think I've made it perfectly clear and I've probably exhibited as well that I don't get involved in the day-to-day operations. I know my role and responsibility as a board member, being an administrator and being a board member for several years. I don't get involved with the day-to-day operations, so I'm leaving that decision up to Chris. So I just wanted to make that comment out there.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for the comment. Any other
Mark,
comment?
Mark and Chris,
Yeah.
I just want to kind of respond. This renovation was board approved. I believe it was in the tune of $700,000, if I remember. That was how much it was, the renovation. Then I knew several meetings ago, some of the things that was mentioned in that letter that was sent to us. I know Chris had updated us on the parking part where they were going to start widening the parking slabs because what was there wasn't adequate enough for each individuals that live at the housing. I know that part was passed along to us at one of the board meetings. But the renovations, we did approve it on one of the board agendas. And then I think we were told that they were looking at to see the patios, and that was coming along. And I think that's what we all decided. Well, it was kind of decided executively that all the houses should have the patios, which would make the housing look a lot more attractive. I think that was decided after the Hilton's was redesigned. I remember the discussion came about from Chris on that one. So I just wanted to say, yeah, you know, we are, a lot of these were board approved, and I know Chris has updated us on some of the things that's mentioned here. But you know, it's just going to take a little time to get to everybody. That's all I have.
What we can do is have a report to the board, maybe at the August meeting under reports, just sort of to show what we've done so far in the housing renovations, and then what are the next steps and the plans going forward, so the board is aware of how the project is going. We can do pictures and all kinds of, you know, just kind of update the board of everything that's been going on with the housing renovation. So we can have that on the August meeting. I don't know what the date is, but the August meeting, we can have that report on there.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay. I know I missed a few meetings prior to this pandemic, so maybe it was reported then. So I don't remember the project, but you know, I'm not trying to come up with this. I'm just saying, you know, I didn't appreciate employees or an employee accusing me of questioning an employee's housing project being completed or being done. So, and I never did that, and I did mention that to Chris. So.
Yeah. You got any more? Okay, maybe another time we could ask for a report from Facilities Director, Mr. McLaughlin.
Yeah, we can have the housing renovation report on the August first, or, well, the August board meeting, we'll have a report on the,
August board meeting. Okay.
Oh, Chris, one more question in regards to your report. Are we going to ever re-advertise the safety and security director position? I think we need to reestablish that position.
okay, we can look at that.
I just wanted
That
to
needs to
say,
be-
yes, I was kind of thinking the same thing with the security supervisor. I think we need to bring it back because of the pandemic that's here. And there's another position, but I'll try and email Chris on that one.
The other one is, staff, because they know they're positive, they should not just walk around with that. 'Cause, evidently, there was a custodian that was positive last week. But we don't know where she went during the time she was on duty. And I don't know, somebody just sort of reported her or something. So that's the scary part. I think the staff at their reporting, they really need to be told, they need to settle down and take this thing seriously. If they are positive or they go somewhere to the hot spots, I think they automatically should be quarantined. Otherwise, it's going to spread like wildfire on this campus. We're paying too much attention to, especially the supervisors. A team leader knew, she's the one that found out that she was working with this person that was positive. And I guess after that, she reported it. So she was going for a test, I understand, to see if she was okay. Yeah. Not just that thing you test that, but I think we may miss some of the staff if they come in at a different time. Okay, yeah, that thing we need to, I guess, really address that with the staff, whether they're a principal or down at the custodian level. Everybody has to be serious about it. Otherwise, if more people come positive, we just have to shut down. There's no ifs about it. Okay, Adea, Mr. Superintendent.
One other thing, Madam President and Chris, yesterday, I don't know if you guys watched that. I don't know if that was a roundtable discussion with President Trump and some other educational leaders. Trump really wants the kids to come back to school.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he was going to pressure the governors to have in-person schooling, traditional schooling start back up. How are we going to oppose that? Because what Superintendent Hoffman is trying to say is it's not really the students we're worried about. It's the students having to take it back to their families and infecting the age group that is really affected by this virus. And then the same thing with the staffing. And I know Betsy DeVos was really adamant about going back into regular schooling coming fall. How do we go and oppose this? Because I believe Arizona is the #1 hotspot in the entire world right now.
So
So
it's Florida. Uh, Go ahead.
so how do we I guess have our voices heard to say that we oppose what the discussion happened yesterday?
I've already signed on to a couple different things that have been sent to ADE in the governor's office. But at the August meeting, we can have a board resolution, if you want to pass a resolution that we can send to the governor's office, just letting the governor's office know that, and well, probably to the legislature too, because at some point the legislature is going to get called back into a special session. So we could do
Yeah.
a resolution that we can send to the legislature and to the governor's office, just from Pinon Unified School District as the governing board, one elected body to another, that you oppose, as a district, that we oppose basically reopening brick and mortar students on campus school, traditional school, until it's safe to do so. So we can have that on the August meeting, a resolution from the board.
Yeah, maybe we can have Asia kind of do the same thing, and ASBA in support.
ASBA already has, they've already been putting stuff out. I can talk to the Asia board and see if they are going to put any, if they're willing to put something out.
I think Asia would support.
Okay.
I know ASA and ASBA and ASBO have all already weighed in. And so is ADE as much as they can, Superintendent Hoffman opposing that, but we'll have a resolution from our district on the next board meeting.
The governor
Uh-huh.
and the legislature, because they're the ones that are there, and President Trump is just pressuring
Yeah.
the states to reopen. And I don't think, so I think it's better to work with the governor and.
Well, we know.
But then maybe at the same time, I don't know how we can get petitions signed by parents to those, to the resolution, stuff like that.
Well, districts, that would be more difficult, but we
Yeah.
would have maybe some of our parent groups do that, or
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't even hold meetings, so everybody's sort of in the dark out in the community. I think the only way to talk to people is on the radio, like if through KTNN or something. Maybe we can pay for an ad, try to get some sort of ask for what statements from each parent, what they think, why it's unsafe to go back into a classroom setting, then distance learning have approved. And I think Canada already, they're going the whole year distance learning, or half the year, and Chin Lee did, so I think they would, those opposed. Yeah, no, he keeps talking about this. Well, I have my own comments when he talks. So I won't say it right here.
okay.
Okay, so we'll work on it. We may end up doing a resolution or something, and we probably just call a board meeting one evening or something for an hour, just pass a resolution. Is that okay? All right, let's move on.
Next item on the
Minutes. New.
Uh, Madam President, members of the board, next item on the agenda is new business number 4.1, approval of board minutes. The board minutes were attached if you had an opportunity to review those. This is normally consent agenda, but because this is a special meeting, there isn't a consent agenda, so we would need a motion and a second to approve if you've had an opportunity to review them.
Okay, so this one doesn't say, consent agenda.
Well, it isn't yeah, we're just, this would normally be consent agenda, but we don't have a consent agenda. So we need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from,
Okay. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
Is that 4.1 that we're talking about?
4.1.
Okay, I'll motion to approve the board minutes held on June 2020.
Not the June 3rd, 2020? 26. Okay, there's a motion and a second by Tommy and Ramona to go ahead and approve the minutes from June 2020. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
I vote yes.
Okay. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. Nana?
Madam President, members of the board, next item is 4.2, approval of the Arizona Consolidated Board Report for July of 2019 to June of 2020. So this is basically the year-end report, the Consolidated Board Report. 47 pages, but it lists all the different account codes, all the different funds that we have.
Okay. All the way down to. Who's reading?
Well, right now we're just looking at 4.2, approval of the Consolidated Board Report, which is this that's on the screen, the full. We just need a motion and a second to approve. This is basically for the fiscal year, the year we just ended.
Board member McCabe would like to go ahead and approve the consolidated board report, July 2019 to June 2020.
Okay, there's a motion made by Tommy and seconded by Ramona. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I vote yes.
Okay. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. Moving on to the next item.
Next item is number 4.3, discussion and possible action to approve the vouchers signed between board meetings. So you have our payroll, expense vouchers for pay periods 24, 25, and 26, and then the accounts payable vouchers basically for the month of June for approval.
Board member McKay would like to approve action item 4.3, approve for the vouchers between board meetings.
Okay.
Board member McCabe. Board member McCabe.
Yeah.
You should just do a consent motion for 4.3, 4.4, and 4.5.
I'll go ahead and amend my motion to approve 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. Approve voucher signed between board meetings for 4.3, 4.4. Stuff's through though. That one, the board action.
4.4 doesn't actually need action. It's just the first reading. It's part of our impact aid application. So every year we just review the policy. So there is no action other than just to acknowledge that it's the first reading.
Okay. 4.5. Adopt the Pinon Unified School District fiscal year 2021 expenditure budget that was presented at the public hearing.
Madam Chair, with that amended motion, I'd like to second.
Mark? No questions, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I vote yes.
4 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. Moving to personal, is that personal items?
No, we're still under new business, 4.6. Discussion and possible action to approve the hire of the following mentors. So these are existing staff members, existing teachers. They've been selected by the principals and for the new mentor program that the board approved 2 meetings ago, I think. And we are still recruiting some other mentors, but these are the ones that have already applied and gone through the process. Maria Santos, who's at the middle school, Dorothea Hubble, who's at the middle school, and Ginger Lara, who's at the elementary school. So we're requesting the board approve those 3. It's a stipend position, an extra duty position.
Okay. It's good, 3 people being selected. We have a motion to approve the recommended people, the mentors for school year 2020 and 21 that are named by superintendent.
Board Member McKee would like to motion, but I got a question.
I'll go ahead and second that motion.
There's a motion, a second made. All those in
My
favor,
question.
you have a
My question is that I know later on down some of these individuals they have what is that leadership team members. Is this going to affect them being a team leader and having to be a mentor?
Thank you for that question, McCabe. I had the exact same
Because,
concern. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, officially, no, they're 2 separate things, 2 separate tasks. I mean, there's nothing that prevents it, but there is there is one individual that is also intended to be, that's on 4.7. No, not 4.7, I'm sorry. On 4.8 to be a leadership team member. I mean, there is nothing that prevents it, but
that would be too much to do.
I think what McCabe is trying to get to is that are they spreading themselves out too thin from their original hired duties? Because they're being recommended to be a mentor and then on the leadership team. And I think if I can recall, one of the individuals was also presented in the past on one of the agendas as another sponsor or something. So I had the exact same question or concern too.
Yeah, the number 2 on 4.8. But that big sign, I think it's a big assignment to me, leadership and the mentor.
So,
We'll be really busy.
so you could motion to approve numbers 1 and Maria Santos and Ginger Lara for this item, because it's Mrs. Hubble is the one who's also on item 4.8. So you could amend the motion. I know there was a motion and a second to approve, but you could amend that to just be Maria Santos and Ginger Lara.
I wonder if the principal would, which one she would prefer to recommend.
Yeah, I agree with Bessie. I wonder what the principal would recommend. I mean, I know this is coming from the principal, but again, I understand where McCabe is coming from too. So
I guess I want to make sure that I understand that if it does interfere, to have the principal to hurry up and come back and make a different recommendation if at all possible.
So
I'll stand by my motion to approve all 3 individuals unless somebody else do other substitution. I just want to ensure that that it is out there. Just don't want to not serve whoever the mentor, the mentee is supposed to be.
Mr. McCabe, board member McCabe, if you're recommending that the principal bring back a recommendation quickly, I think the appropriate way to do this, according to parliamentary procedures, is just to table the item. And when an item is tabled, then you bring it back up before we adjourn the meeting.
What if I motion to approve 1 and 3 and then get a feedback from the principal on number 2 and possibly table number 2? Is that doable, Chris? Madam President?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I didn't know that. So what you could do is amend your motion to approve 1, Maria Santos, and number 3, Ginger Lara, and to table number 2, Dorothea Hubble. And then we'll review that and bring it back to the next meeting, either a different person or to approve that person, but we'll bring that back at the next meeting.
yeah, decide which one she would be interested in. Not both of them, because that's going to be a lot of work for her. Okay, so that would be the motion. Number 1, number 2. All those in favor of that amended?
Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam Chair, can you restate the motion, please?
okay.
The motion would be, well, this is if Tommy wants, because he made the original motion. So if Tommy wants to amend his motion, the amended motion could be to approve number 1, Maria Santos, and number 3, Ginger Lara as mentors for the 2021 school year, and to table Dorothea Hubble pending principal input.
Yes, I want to amend my motion to that, to approve 1 and 3 Maria Santos, and Ginger Laura. And table number 2, Dorothea Hubbard, to get a clarification from principal.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there is a second to the motion. On number 2, vote on this 4.6 item. So all those in favor say aye.
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 I vote yes.
Motion is carried with 4 in favor, 0 opposed. On to subject 4.7. That is discussion and possible action to approve the following classified employees of the Pinon Accelerated School, Middle School, FIAT, which is Family Involvement Action Team Coordinator, and they're recommending Eva Makia. Eva Makawa. All right. For the whole year, she's supposed to receive $3,000 for school year 2021 as a PAM student support facilitator.
No, she is the student support facilitator.
And FIAT coordinator.
Yeah, what you're approving her for,
For 2 positions for the same.
no, her full-time job is the student support facilitator. The FIAT coordinator is a stipend extra duty position, so this is just approving the stipend for her to take that role. She's had that position for several years. She's very, very good at the FIAT coordinator position for the middle school.
Board member McCabe would like to, if the other board members don't mind, I'd like to motion to approve 4.7. FIAT coordinator stipend for Eva Makiwa, who's currently a student support facilitator at 3,000. And then 4.8, proven discussion to approve the 2021 leadership, PAM's leadership team members from 1,000. The 4 individuals named there: Stephanie Foster, Dorothea Hubble, Victoria Staley, and Andrea Charlie. And then 4.9, discussion possible action to approve high school site team leaders 2021 with a stipend of 5,000. Mr. Michael Ferrer, Mr. James Gustafson, Mrs. Kathy James, and Dr. Robert Labarge.
Okay, so you're
Madam
proposing,
Chair, I'd like to second that motion.
okay. So you're proposing all the way to 4.9. All right, Ramona. Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried with 4
I vote yes.
in favor, 0 opposed. Now we're at 4.10. And that one is discussion and possible action to approve the annual salary for school counselors. I think those are just corrected that we asked for before. Make sure they're at the right place. We're hoping it was better than this, but it's at the same place.
We went back through policy, reviewed, we, meaning Jackie and Joyce, went back through policy and the salary tables, their work history here in the district, and everything. And that based on how the salary setting works, those are the step and salary amounts.
So, uh, both of the counselors are at the same grade with the experience and so forth. So I need a motion second to approve as presented. Attention. Any questions? Everybody okay? Unmuted.
No, you're, oh, you just muted yourself. You weren't muted.
Is this the item that we tabled from the last board meeting?
No?
There you go.
Oh, now you're not.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I just went over saying that this was tabled at the June 3rd board meeting when it was presented. We thought Mr. Bobsony could have been a higher salary. And it didn't, I guess they rechecked it and everything, but still, that's his correct salary at this time. So is the other person Elva Jeffries? So do I need a motion second to accept that at the counselor's salary placement that's brought back to us?
Board member
Mhm.
McKay would like to motion to approve, but just got one thing that I just want to
Mhm.
point out.
Okay,
I'll second that motion, but I have a question.
okay, go ahead, Tommy, what's your question?
Well, we all know that how long Mr. Tassini's been a counselor. I was wondering why it says is allowed only 10 years, and then the bottom one is more than 10 years. Why is one person only allowed 10 years, and why is the other person allowed more years of counselor experience?
That, well, they're both, our policy allows up to, well, they both have more than 10 years of counseling experience, but they are allowed, we are allowed to count 10 years when we place people, which places them on step 11. So in both cases, they both have more than 10 years of counseling experience, but the way our policy is written, we can only give 10 years experience, which puts them on step 11. So it was done the same way for both people.
Okay, they're on step 11. Did you understand that, Tommy?
And that's how we do all certified placements for teachers, counsel, any certified person. Policy, the way it's written, allows us to credit up to 10 years of experience, which would put them on step 11. So that's how the calculation was done.
Your question?
Yeah, I'm looking at the salary schedule on the district's website, and in MA step 11 is 56,900.
Well, the counselors are on a different, I don't know which salary schedule you're looking at, so
Joyce, can you present?
I'm looking at the certified placement schedule.
counselors are not
All
on
you have,
certified teacher, they're on they're on a separate one because they're 11-month, they're not 12-month. I mean, they're not 10-month.
Okay, because on the website, all we have is administrative, certified, classified, paraprofessional, and extracurricular.
I guess the one isn't, I'll see if I can find on my.
Yeah, I know Bob has been counselor for many years. I think he was born before me, so. He was already counselor when I got to know who he is.
Well, he was here in the district and then left, broke service with the district. And then when he came back, he was replaced because that's what we do. If somebody leaves the district and they come back, they get placed again on the salary schedule. The only way, I mean, the way the policy and everything is written, what you could do is make a motion to approve the salaries and waive the 10-year of service cap. So we would go in and set their salary based on total years of experience beyond the 10, but the 10 is what policy says. I mean, the board can make an exception to policy and do that, but we can't, I mean, as HR or superintendent, I can't make an exception to policy. Only the board can do that. So that would be one way if you wanted to do it, is to motion to approve with motion to approve and set the salary with total years of experience as counselor instead of the 10-year cap. And then we would just recalculate it and set the salary that way.
We would have to do that for the other one too.
Well, you would do it with both, because they're both counselors, you would do it with both of them, and we would just reevaluate and give them total years of experience as counselors, not just the 10-year cap.
Mhm.
We would look at their entire career as a counselor.
Did you understand, Tommy?
If I'm looking, Madam Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Again, I'm looking at the certified schedule. And if I'm looking at this right, it says 850 over, 850 down. So if we go 850 down, I calculated maybe 4 more steps down times 850. That gives it 3,400. And the total, if we give them 4 extra steps, would be 65,933. And I'm not sure if that's the exact, what the 850 up, 850 down is on the other schedule where these counselors are placed.
It is, the 850 is standard across all those.
So right now it's at 62.
And right now it's at 62,533.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree with what the board members are saying. Mr. Ticini has been in that profession for some time, and he's shown dedication to the district, although he's left and came back. So, but I don't know the other individual.
so Tommy,
So again, there was, so again, there was a motion and a second, but what you need to do if the board wants to do that, again, is, who made the motion? Tommy, did you make the motion? Yeah, there was a motion.
there was a motion.
Yeah, I did make the motion.
So what you could do is amend your motion, basically to
Waive what?
waive the 10-year cap for these 2 individuals, and then we would place them based on their total years of counseling experience.
Did you understood what superintendent said?
So amend my
Waive-
motion
Uh-huh.
to approve the individual to waive the 10-year cap.
And then we would set their salary based on
Oh,
their
their
total
total.
years of counts. For both of them, we would go back and set their salary based on total years of counseling experience and not cap it at 10 years.
Okay. I'd like to amend my motion to approve the two individuals and waive the 10-year cap and use the actual experience, years of experience.
For their salary placement. Ooh. Okay, Ramona seconds the motion. Any questions?
So what would that amount be?
I guess when they count
Because
the total years experience, so it'll go on another meeting agenda.
You know, Joyce, how many total years they have?
what I was thinking was, if according to the certified schedule, 850 up and 850 down. If we go 850 down, 5 steps down rather than 4, 5 steps down, 850 times 5 is 4,250. The 4,250 plus the 62,533 gives a total of 66,783 for salary.
Okay, you can set it that way.
I'm not sure if the board members are comfortable with that amount, 66,783.
I was
Or if we
hoping
wanna go a
for
little higher.
80,000.
80,000. That's like a principal
Superintendent just
position.
stared at me. I'm just kidding. Okay. 66 sounds pretty comfortable. I mean, Bob, he really works. I know Bob. Yeah. And the other girl, I'm not sure. I don't know her well enough to say the same.
So I'm not sure what the motion party thinks on that. So if we go 850 times 5, that's 4,250. Plus the 62,533 gives a total salary for both at 66,783.
66,783?
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. So
How much?
motion-
Amend the
66 what?
motion to that amount.
Yeah.
With,
66,783.
Okay.
So Bobby, are you amending your
Add to
motion?
my,
Okay.
what's that?
Oh, I was just asking if you're amending your motion.
I don't want to say the whole amended motion, but just
Well,
to
that's fine,
add to
just-
my amended motion. With the salary of 66. How much was it, Mark?
783?
66,783. So that would mean to go 850 times 5 steps down.
66,783, I think is what they said.
Yeah. Yeah, 66,783.
So are you okay with that okay, then Ramona seconds your amended motion. So there's a motion and a second, and then
Okay,
All those in favor?
so are we comfortable with that one?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So all those in favor say aye. Aye.
I vote yes.
Okay, yes, by, how about you, Tom?
I vote yes.
Okay. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. All right, go to the next item.
next item is 4.11, discussion and possible action to approve the placement of the following transportation employees from bus driver 1 to bus driver 2. So these individuals, after evaluating their years of service, professional development, and the requirements, meet the qualifications to move from bus driver 1 to bus driver 2. And that is number 1 is Kyle Baya, number 2 is Paul Braggett, number 3 is Raven Burbank, Number 4 is Winifred Muzzy, and number 5 is Vernell Unitilli. So these are existing employees. They just meet the qualifications to move from bus driver 1 to bus driver 2.
Winfred Muzzy, does she have 80 hours too? Look like those written by their name.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's on. Oh, yours chopped off at the bottom. Winifred Muzzy has accumulated 80 hours.
Oh, okay. Somebody chopped it off. Okay. I need a motion second to approve this. I think this is good for the classified. Okay. Is there a second?
If there's a motion, I'll second.
Okay. There's a second to the motion. Are you hearing me okay, or am I
Yeah,
muted?
you're fine.
Oh, okay. So there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 I vote yes.
Okay, 4 in favor, 0 opposed. 4.12,
Madam President, members of the board, 4.12 and 4.13, we're asking the board, we had substitute positions for bus drivers and custodians in the past, and we just haven't filled them in a long time. We're asking the board to reestablish that and to advertise. What we've been doing for the last several years is if a custodian was absent, then someone else would just cover for them, or maybe things didn't get cleaned quite as well that night if somebody was missing. And then with the substitute bus drivers, it was, you know, if we didn't have enough drivers, then we combined routes and did other things. But with COVID and, you know, the push for sanitation and deep cleaning, we really can't go without a custodian. So if someone called in or was unavailable, then this would act sort of like a substitute teacher. So if a custodian was absent, we could call in a substitute custodian to work. Same thing with bus driver. You know, we can't really combine routes anymore. Once students are back on campus and we're transporting them, we can't really combine routes because if anything, we're going to need to make the buses less crowded, not more crowded. So that's really what 4.12 and 4.13 is, just asking board approval to advertise for substitute custodians and substitute bus drivers. And they would operate in the same way that a substitute teacher does. They're not on contract, they're just called in as we need them.
okay,
Madam Chair,
yeah, go ahead.
Madam Chair,
Yes. Am I-
hello.
Oh, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Madam Chair, based on Oscar's presentation, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 4.12 to approve and advertise substitute custodians for school year 2021. And I'd like to make that as a consent motion for as well as 4.13 to approve and advertise for substitute bus drivers for school year 2021. That's my motion.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? Second by Ramona. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
I vote yes.
Okay, Tommy? Are you still there, Tommy? Okay. 3 in favor, 0 opposed, or 1.
Tom's on the line.
I know it says Tommy there. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carried. Moving to, do we go into executive session?
Madam President, Madam President, members of the board, executive session would be if there are items under personnel that you would like to discuss, in executive session, then you would make that motion now to go into executive session to discuss those specific items. If there's nothing that needs to be done in executive session, then we would just move on to personnel. So this is, if you look at, there's 6.1 is just, this is the retirement of an existing employee at the end of the year with the retirement recentive. That's 6.1. 6.2 is to amend the contract amount for Generita Yazi. She was placed, but then we had additional transcripts that were completed and submitted, so that actually changes her placement. 6.3 is hiring of a new teacher at the elementary, Vanessa Begay. 6.4 is hire of a new staff member, certified reading interventionist for the Pinon High School, Jimmy Arredondo. Then 6.5 is to rescind contract offer to Dr. Rosefina Sells. She was approved for that position by the board, but she had to decline. Her letter was attached for the board. She had a death in the family, which changed her family circumstances as far as her ability to come to Pinon, so she declined the offer. 6.6 is discussion and possible action to approve exceptional student services director for this year, Dale O'Donnell. Some of you may know her. She actually spent some time in Ganado and she was their interim superintendent briefly, and then left Ganado to go to the Valley and decided she didn't want to be in the Valley and then wanted to come back north. And she's very excited about the position. 6.7 is to recall an agenda item from the prior meeting based on the fact that Dr. Sells declined the offer. The other candidate is still interested. So if the board chose to recall the agenda item, then 6.8 would be the actual vote on that individual, Esther Macias, for elementary school principal. So those are the personnel items. So if there are items that you would like to discuss in executive session, then you could make a motion to go into executive session for those items.
If we want to go into executive session,
Do we have executive session notice?
executive session should be up to,
We don't have an executive session notice for Dr. Sells, so we can't discuss her in executive session, but we could discuss the others.
okay. So how far would we go on executive session? 6.6?
Well, it's just if we don't need to go into executive session, we don't need to. It's just if the board would choose to go into executive session, this would be the time.
Madam Chair, I'd like to go into executive session on 6.8.
What about the others before that? So we'll go and make a motion to approve. They're all straightforward communication. No big question on these. The superintendent went over 6.2 and 6.3, 6.4. All hires. And 6.5, the rescinding contract offer. And go one by one, or just go into executive session.
Well, you can motion to go into executive session for 6.8, because that was the one that board member Little mentioned. So we could go into executive session for that now and then come back out and do the rest of them. Or you could approve the rest. I mean, you could go through the rest of them first and then go into executive session. It's really the board's decision how you want to.
Okay. Why don't we go with 6.8 for executive session?
Is that a motion? I'll second if there's no second.
There's a motion, 90 seconds, so there is a second to the motion. I'm going to executive session for 6.8. Aye. Aye.
I vote yes. I vote yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, 4 in favor, 0 opposed, so we're now going to executive session.
Do we just call your phone again, Chris?
Yeah, if you just call my cell phone, that'll work.
Okay.
And then board members too, be sure
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, you're there.
Can you help Ramona's not? Don, can you get Ramona back on? She's not on call.
Am I muted still?
No, you're not muted.
Okay,
You're
good.
We can hear you.
So Tommy, are you there? I see you, but are you there?
I'm
This
here.
is Mark. I'm here.
Okay, Tommy and Mark are here, Bessie's here. Ramona is physically here. John's gonna help her sign back into the meeting.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
executive session. I think we go,
Yes, we can hear you, Tommy.
go back, start up here.
Yes. So we would be on, we've returned from executive session, so we'd be on personnel 6.1, discussion of possible action to approve the following employee school year 2020-21 employee contract with the retirement incentive added in accordance to governing board policy GBQE. That's Marjorie Bino. She's got, I believe, 35 years of service here in the district. She's currently an ESS special education teacher. And so basically, and we've done this with some other individuals recently too, but just to refresh your memory, that basically she's declaring that this will be her last year. She intends to retire at the end of this upcoming school year, and that she's eligible for the retirement incentive, which is a percentage bump in salary for the last year that she's on contract. So I recommend the board approve. Marjorie is serving out this year. It would, her retirement would be at the end of this school year.
Okay, board member,
Board member McKay would like to go ahead and motion to approve the following item 6.1 as read.
okay,
And I'll second that. I'll second that motion.
okay, there's a motion to go ahead and approve point 1. All those in favor say aye. Aye,
Aye.
carried with
I vote yes.
4 in favor, 0 opposed. Then moving to the next item, 6.2.
2.2 is discussion of possible action to amend school year 2020-2021 salary for Generita Yazi to the amount of $73,400, which is MA plus 36 step 2. With the salary was set, and then an additional official transcript came in, which provided some additional credits. So we're asking for the salary amount to be amended for the upcoming school year. I would recommend the board to approve.
We'll need a motion to approve to
Madam
end the
Chair,
contract.
Madam Chair, as presented by Superintendent Oscar, I'd like to make a motion to approve 6.2 to amend the school year 2020-2021 contract to reflect the new amount of $73,400.
Okay,
Board
There's
member
second.
McKay would like to second, but
okay.
I have a one question.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, question was, just wanted to know if these transcripts came in before March 1st.
Yeah, Joyce is shaking her head, yes. Did the, oh, I'm sorry. Joyce is shaking her head yes to your question.
Oh, okay.
So everything's okay. So I'll call for the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion is carried.
I vote yes.
4 in favor, 0 opposed. Moving on to the next item, 6.3.
Point three is discussion
This-
of possible action to approve the hire. Discussion of possible action to approve the hire of the following teacher for this upcoming school year, 2020-2021. Vanessa Begay for Pinion Elementary School. I believe it's going to be fourth grade teacher. MA step 9 at the salary of $55,200. And I would recommend the board to approve.
Board Member McKay would like to go ahead and recommend for approval for 6.2 as recommended.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
okay, 6.3. All those in favor say aye. Aye, motion is carried with
Aye.
4 in favor, 0 opposed.
I haven't even vote yet. I'll vote
Oh,
yes.
okay, you motion, so I feel you're gonna vote. I don't mind the voices. Okay. On to 6.4. Hire a certain high school certified reading interventionist for school year 2020, 2021. Okay, his name is, you go ahead.
Jimmy Arredondo at MA step 6 at the salary of $52,650.
Board Member McKay would like to motion to approve as read, 6.4 as read.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
okay. Motion is second. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote yes.
Okay, I'm listening. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. None. 4.5. A contract offer to Rosie.
6.5 is discussion of possible action to rescind the contract offer to Dr. Rosefina Sells. She was offered the elementary principal contract, and unfortunately, she needed to decline the offer due to a change in family circumstances. She will not be able to come to Pinion. So this is, she declined the contract offer, so this is rescinding the offer that was issued to her.
Board Member McKay would like to approve. Item 6.5 as read.
Ramona, motion to approve.
Ramona, you're on mute, so he couldn't hear you, but
Is there a
if-
second?
Tommy, are you okay to second? Ramona, you might not have heard it, but Ramona motion to approve. Are you
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and second.
Okay. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 I vote yes. I vote yes.
Okay. Okay, 4 in favor, 0 opposed. The next item, 6.6. Superintendent?
Madam President, members of the board, 6.6 is discussion of possible action to approve the hire of our Exceptional Student Services ESS Director for school year 2020-2021. Dale O'Donnell, master's degree plus 12 hours at step 6 is $75,100 salary. I would request the board approve the hire.
We have somebody apply for special ed director. All right.
They're very difficult to find.
I want to go ahead and motion to approve the hire of the ESS director for school year 2020 and 2021. Individual
Board,
Dale O'Donnell at 75,100
board,
with masters at 12 plus step 6.
Board Member McKay would like to second the motion.
Okay, there's second to the motion. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 I vote
Aye.
yes.
Okay, 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. Next, 6.7. 6.7.
Board members, item 6.7 is discussion and possible action to recall an agenda item from the June 3rd meeting, which was item 8.3. Discussion possible action to approve the hire Esther Macias for elementary principal at 76,800 MA plus 24, step 7. Based on the fact that in 6.5, we've rescinded the contract offer to the elementary principal candidate. I would be requesting the board to recall this agenda item. This is not to approve the individual. This is just to recall the item and bring it back to the board for discussion.
I want to go ahead and motion to call agenda item 8.3 from June 3rd, 2020 governing board meeting.
I'll go ahead and second the motion.
Tommy seconds the motion. All those in favor on recalling this item?
Aye.
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 I vote no.
Okay, 3 in favor, 1 opposed. Move to 3.8.
Board members, 6.8, so board members, then item 6.8 is to reconsider that item. So discussion and possible action to approve the following new hire for 2020-2021 school year. Esther Macias, elementary principal at 76,800 MA plus 24, step 7. This person was an applicant and part of the selection process before. Since how the candidate that the board approved had to withdraw, and due to the time constraints with the new year starting, I'm bringing this back to the board for consideration. It's up to the board. You've recalled the item, but it's still up to the board to vote on the item as to whether you want to offer a contract to this individual or not.
So the contract will be contingent upon submission of the Arizona certificate.
Correct.
Okay, board members, this person certified in New Mexico, but just needs to get to Arizona. So I guess that takes some time. I don't know how long. But anyway, the item is on the table. So whatever you decide. Is there a motion to go ahead and accept the recommendation to hire Esther Macias as an elementary principal at 76,800?
I want to go ahead and motion to approve the new hire for the 2020 and 2021 school year. Miss Esther Macias, elementary principal at 76,800 MA plus 24, step 7.
Okay. There's,
Go ahead and second the motion.
okay, Tommy seconds the motion. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor
I
say
just
aye.
want to,
Okay,
I just want to add that we need to treat our Navajo applicants very good. I did get a call and I tried to ask the person for their name and they wouldn't disclose, but did tell me that, you know, there is there was an incident that occurred where we had to go pick up some applicants in a vehicle, district vehicle. I don't know why we don't do those type of things. We don't go above and beyond for our own Navajo people, and that's very disappointing. We just need to treat our Navajo people very good as well.
Hmm? Okay, well,
So motion and second.
there's a motion and second. And all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
I vote no.
okay. 3 in favor, 1 opposed, 0 abstention, motion is carried. Thank you, board members.
I have to motion to adjourn.
And I need a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll go ahead and second that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye. Motion and second is made to adjourn. So, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3 in favor,
Aye.
4 in favor. Motion, motion is carried, so meeting adjourned. Thank you. John Bashir, principal in Kehatoli. We'll just have to think the best. Thank you.
This person
Thank
needs to
you, guys. We'll
emphasize
see you next
Navajo
meeting,
language
and
and
be safe.
culture.
Thank you.
Principal needs to emphasize Navajo language and culture as well.
I'm sorry, whoops, am I muted? Sorry, Mark, can you repeat that? There was somebody else talking.
Oh, I said the new principal needs to emphasize Navajo language and culture as well as the immersion program.
Yes, okay.
Definitely.
Okay, well, we stand adjourned. Thank you. I'll end the Zoom meeting. Thank you all for participating. Have a good evening, everyone.